enough, and I'm going to look for this. You have to hear this. This is what kicked it off. I played this chorus that came from a reel-to-reel tape that actually had gotten twisted and went reversed at the end, and it was only about a 20-second snippet. Yeah. I said, listen to this. What do you think of this? And he took it, worked out the chords. He took it home, and he presented me with this beautiful track that I just loved singing to, and we wrote the lyrics together right down here. Yep. But the same simple chorus is the one I had from 48 years ago. Wow. When I was touring with Glass Harp out in the West Coast. That's when it's a really interesting story because I wrote it on this new guitar that was just given to me by a guy named Don Absher, who is he's a pastor in Southern California. I led Don to the Lord at this venue called, I think it was called The Earth. And Beautiful Day was playing. Glass Harp opened up for Beautiful Day. And while they were playing, I was up in the green room sharing my story, how Jesus came into my life. And I just told him what happened, and he all of a sudden started weeping. And he opened his heart right there to Jesus. A month later, he comes up to Newport Beach because we're on tour for a month out there. And he brings this Mark Evan White Book guitar, and he gives it to me as a gift. And I used it. You remember the flip side? Yeah. That acoustic on there? Yeah. It's that guitar. Mark Evan White Book has that guitar today, which I'm glad the creator of the instrument has his guitar back. And that's another interesting story. But so the song, I believe, is what really launched it. Then Rex would come by with some new tunes that he's working on. Had pretty much the arrangements all finished, but we worked on the lyrics together. And I come up with maybe a melody for the verses and the chorus or something. Usually the verses, because you usually had it all worked out for the chorus.
Although you would tweak and massage and make sure that it fits in the flow of what we were doing. That was the beautiful part of it. So.
I stood right there and I did all my vocals here. He did all his vocals in his studio. Mm-hmm. And that's where it started. And he played the drums, the keys, the guitars, bass, harmonies, mixing. Fantastic producer.
When you started out, did you have a vision for the stylistic scope that you were going to cover, or did you just kind of go where the stream took you?
I know, Phil from his experience kind of has a progression, but generally we wrote a song together on the All at Once record, a song called I Love the Way You Love Me. And as a producer at Sony, I'd found ways to work with new writers, like finding the strengths and getting traction. So Phil and I came in here, I said, hey, Phil, let's do something. And so I found a way that really triggered a really immediate reaction and return. So I got him to sing what the first thing that comes out of his heart and mind over some chords that we came up with, that we created. And it happened so fast. Came at home. Then we did the lyrics over the phone. The next day he had the vocal done. The next day it was done. It was mixed, and it was this energy, and the music was good. So that was that record that we knew. Oh, we had a good time working together. So after that record came out, and we spent some time visiting. Like I said, it's more of a mentorship, sharing, kind of a brotherhood journey that's been so rich. That's been the most beautiful thing about this whole experience. But when we started talking about it, Phil said, hey, let's do a project. And it'll be a Phil Keaggy record that I would help him produce. And then as we started to talk about ideas, and then this song was birthed, the very first one. He talked about playing this 1971 track that just, my jets were lit when he played that. He goes, what do you think about that? Can you do anything? I said, oh my, because I'm a Jesus movement child. That's where I gave my life to the Lord, was in the Jesus movement. Listened to Love Broke Through, and so we started there, and then we would come over here and song ideas and write, and maybe some internet or some some tracks back and forth, or we'd usually meet over here and finish songs. And it was one of those things, it just got better every time we got together.
Wow.
And we would have our notebooks of writing lyrics, and we would come together. And so for me as a producer, just an idealized way of saying, man, I'd love this to sound like all my heroes. Yes, Trevor Rabin, Tears for Fears, all these things and so that's between Phil and I. It just kept getting better and better, and by the time we knew it, we had 11 songs.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And we co-wrote a number of the songs together, and Brian Clark and I wrote one song, and he wrote one song with Tom Douglas, which was a fantastic tune. And but this is that lost chorus. Let me see if I can play it for you.
Oh, you have it.
I believe, yes, I believe, and I got reason to live, to live.
It's because the tape got warped or something, and but that was it, you know. And I was 20 years old there, and I was on tour, and I was probably thrashed, you know. My voice was thrashed, but I put that idea down somewhere, you know, on a cassette recorder, I think. So there it was, and then it turned into a really good sounding song, you know. It sounded really fresh, and it was all about we ended up writing the lyrics about, I believe, about the Jesus movement, when it all really began. The Spirit fell by his command. And, you know, his name is love, his word is true, living hope, you know, because of you. And, you know, it's very, it's just a proclamation. It's a proclamation song that has a little bit of glass harp sound to it.
Yeah,
You know, a little bit of Badfinger.
Oh yeah, we
I
talked about
noticed
that
some
too. Yeah.
Badfinger in
Yeah,
there too.
you know.
And it even, if I'm remembering correctly, the guitar tones you dialed in on that even have a retro, like they sound like some of the tones that you can hear when you listen to the records from back then. It's like you switched off the 80s, 90s kind of modern thing and went with this vintage kind of tone for that.
An old Vox amp and that Les Paul from 1971. That guy.
Wow, this guy. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Weighs
There's a lot of
20 pounds too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how it started. And but I'd just be amazed when he would come back. He said, "Hey, listen to this track," and I go, "Whoa!" And then the suggestion was made to maybe one of the old songs or two of the old songs.
Yes.
So
yeah.
we first thought of Time, Full Circle.
I think Full Circle was the one we dove into first.
Yeah.
And that came out really, really good because everything's there.
Right.
We just, you know, translated it to, you know, I just kind of wanted to go 9125, you know.
That's what I said.